Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to teach you guys how to sharpen a chainsaw. I got my buddy Joe over here today, and he's going to be our guru. So let's get over to Joe. Good afternoon, Mr. Joe.
Most generally you have a little handle on this, which makes it a lot easier so you don't stab yourself.
Go.
You want to try to keep it as level as possible and the same angle as your teeth are going. And there we go. After the first time or two, it'll get smooth. You want to count how many times you do it. 3, 4, 5, 6.
So if you notice on the blade here, some of them come towards me and some of them come towards Joe. So all the ones that are going towards Joe, he's going to do, and then he'll come on the other side of the chainsaw and then sharpen the other way.
Make sure you keep track of how many you do each tooth, because you want to try to keep them all the same. That way you don't get one tooth sharper than the others. Just move it up to the next tooth. And don't pull back on it, because you'll mess your sharpening up. I don't want to lock it down free.
And how often do you recommend that they sharpen their chainsaws?
It varies. When you're cutting, you'll be able to tell if it's sharp or not, because a sharp chainsaw will cut through tree like a hot knife through butter. Once it starts dulling, it gets real hard, and it'll even sometimes start smoking, because it'll start getting so hot that it's burning the wood instead of cutting it.
Alright. Yeah, I noticed this one here, it got to the point where it just wouldn't cut anything.
That's a real good sign of it's dull. And if you hit any rocks or nails, always take and sharpen it. 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, so this chainsaw I got, it's just a standard, medium size Stihl. It's a Stihl MS 250. It's got an 18-inch bar. The sharpeners we got some in my barn that are Stihl, but we bought these first. And on there you can read, this is 5/32 by 6 inches, or 4 millimeters by 15.24 centimeters. You can buy these here at any local parts store.
You'll want to make sure that you get a file that actually fits your saw. They come in the chains and the files come in a few different sizes.
So basically, if it fits in there where it's kind of conical right there, then you know if it goes right to the top. Till next time, everyone. Take care and God bless. So, Joe, how do you know if the chain's actually shot, or if you need to buy a new chain, or if it's still good for you?
Well, this one, since it is new, it's easy to tell. It's still got good spring and all. If it's stretched out too far, no matter how far, there's a little tensioner in here. Now, how much tension you put on it, it'll always just stay too loose.
Okay.
And it'll cause it to jump off a lot too.
And how do you know if the chain's just right or if it's too tight or too loose?
Like right now, it's just right. You can see there's a little hose in it.
So you want the holes just to barely come. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. You want the holes just to barely come through. Yeah.
You don't want the chain to where it completely comes off. Like if I put enough pressure on it, you can see it comes up. But you don't want it to come up all the way because then it'll just jump.
So still be in the track, but the holes just a little bit outside that line.
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right. Then you want to show our guest today where the tensioner would be? What the two nuts are for?
These two nuts, you'll loosen those just a little bit where it frees up the bar. That way you can move the bar back and forth. You put a straight screwdriver. There's a...
Benjamin's bringing the tool over now.
Try to clean that out where you can...
A little flathead area?
Yeah. You put a little flat in there, and it moves this bar back and forth, which tightens the chain and loosens it.
Okay.
And after every cutting, you do want to try to blow the saw out. That way you don't get it too gunked up. That way you can constantly have oil coming to the chain where it doesn't get too hot and stretch out.
Okay. Alright, here's our little tool helper. Let's see that tool you brought over, Ben. You could have held it, son. So this is the chainsaw tool right here. This is what's going to use to loosen the bolts. And this here is the little flathead that you're going to use for the tensioner. I'll hand it over to Joe real quick. I'll give you a quick tutorial, demonstration.
Some of them have smaller nuts and some have bigger. And you can actually use this for the spark plug too. But this one has the bigger nuts.
So lefty loosey and righty tighty?
Yep. You tell me that and I do it wrong.
Alright. So going counterclockwise, we're going to loosen up that chain. And then now it's loose, he's going to use the flathead for the tensioner. So when you go clockwise, you're going to be tightening the chain. When you go counterclockwise, you're going to be loosening that chain.
Yeah, chain's loose now. And that's a bad sign if you have a chain that just stays that loose. Because it'll constantly want to throw it off and it'll mess your bar up too.
You can actually see the chain tightening.
Just a hair tighter.
So it looks like it's still on the track, but the holes are just barely showing. So we're good there.
It's got all good tension.
So the chain's tight again.
And it all moves freely.
And once everything's good, we'll go ahead and tighten these back up. We're going to go clockwise to tighten these up.
You don't want to over tighten them because you'll break your cover here.
All right.
That's got it all tightened, ready to go.
Until next time, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.